It was really an amazing weekend for the Dogs, and there's always something to be critical of a head coach about. That's clear, but it's going to be harder and harder for the critics of Kirby Smart to really harm him or wound him this offseason at least. You've seen Georgia come through with a 14-1 national championship season where they defeated every team they played. And really, almost more stunning than that. And the season was a pretty stunning thing. To have 15 guys drafted, I mean, that's just, I mean, obviously that's not normal, right? But it is a non-rubber stamp uh, showing that Georgia has really come a long way in recruiting and development of talent. I will say this: when the 16 season came along and Georgia kind of figured its way through an 8-5 year, one player was drafted in that draft. That was Isaiah McKenzie. Of course, a season later, and one reason why was because a lot of guys came back: Nick Chubb, Sony, etc. A season later, they had a few more guys: Roquan in the first round, um, Isaiah Wynn in the first round. It was a it was a run that was narrow. It was a play short of a national championship. A season that was a play short of the national championship. Now we've seen Georgia get the national championship and have 15 guys um, sign NFL contracts through the draft. I mean, I'll tell you right now, it is surprising to see 15 guys. I mean, John Fitzpatrick getting drafted I mean, that's a major accomplishment for him, and I think it's a major accomplishment for Jake Camarda too, uh, because you're talking about a specialist, and to get as drafted as high as Jake got drafted is an amazing thing. But the thing that I learned during this season, right here, the 2021 season, was that Georgia has amassed talent through recruiting. It's something I've talked about for a long time. And when you have the guys, you can get the job done. Um, I don't think that this is the end of this. I don't know where we are in the iceberg. I know where we are with DAWGSTRUCTION. I'm running out of copies. Please make sure if you're interested in getting this before Father's Day and graduation, you need to order it today so that I can get it to you for graduation very specifically. If you want me to sign it to your grad or dad, let me know. But when you are dumping 15 guys into the league, you've just won the national championship. You know, I think it is possible, and I'm probably going to talk about this on another video, that Georgia's 2021 season is redefined by historians because of this draft. We can't know what the future holds for all 15 of these guys. I mean, the truth is they're not going to all make their teams. But um, when you look back on things, you have a way of comparing. In the moment, it's always hard to know just how great teams are. I mean, I contend that frankly, we've seen three all-time great teams in a row here. We've seen LSU 2019, Alabama 2020, and now Georgia 2021. Those three teams were all-time teams. I mean, it's just all there is to it. Now, the only team there that lost a game was Georgia, but then they, beat Alabama's brains in, a couple days later, about 6 weeks later with this moment. I mean, that was the that was the culminative. That was the moment that Georgia had just missed out on, and honestly, um, it was a bad play by Bryce Young. That's just what it was. It was just not a good play by Bryce Young, and just an interception probably kills the game, but probably. But I think Alabama still had three timeouts left, if my memory is correct. They certainly had a couple, and so Georgia would have to kill off the end of that game when he goes and waltzing into the end zone. Um, you saw the explosion, and I've seen it since of how much that championship means and meant to Georgia. But the criticism of Kirby, I mean, I'm always going to criticism because that's part of my job. And he has there's things to criticize him about. But I think when people look back on this season, um, part of the legacy of the 21 team will be defined by what happens in the NFL. Um, maybe maybe not exclusively that, and certainly not exclusively that. But the way they ripped through the playoffs, I mean, it was similar to what LSU and Alabama did the last two seasons. I mean, LSU's total domination of Oklahoma in that semifinal served note that they were not going to lose. And what they did to Clemson was they took Clemson's punch. I mean, Clemson looked like they could very seriously win that game in the first quarter, and LSU just laughed to the finish line. A season later, Notre Dame had no possible hope of beating Alabama. They probably should not have been in the playoff, but they earned it, whatever the hell that means anymore. And they were in there. Alabama absolutely wipes the floor with them. I thought that Ohio State would have a hard time with Alabama, but I thought they had a puncher's chance. Alabama absolutely wasted them. Then we get to this season, Michigan was not in the same universe as Georgia. And I mean, they just weren't. And it makes you wonder, you know, how much further the SEC is than the Big Ten. And then the colossal matchup that we've seen now, I think 5 times in 5 years, or yeah, 5 times in 5 years, 17, 18, didn't happen in 19, happened in 20, and then happened 21 twice. Um, the epic matchup between two of the five largest brands in the sport with Alabama and Georgia winning that game by 16 points. I believe it was, whatever it was, 33 to 18, whatever that number is, 15 points. Um, it was a way to silence the critics. It was a way to, um, well, a lot of different things, right? It should have happened. I mean, some of us, maybe just me and Charles Barkley, were the ones saying, "Hey, this should happen." But now that it has, it opens up a new doorway. But don't worry, Kirby haters, you will have your opportunity to criticize again. Let's just keep it based a little bit in reality when we do that. I mean, the criticism of Kirby um, is something that we all, well, those of us who are in the position I'm in, which is in media, as well as his superiors at Georgia, everyone should always look at how he can get better, how the program can get better. And one national championship is not going to be enough. It's just not. He's asked for a lot. He's gotten every single thing he's asked for. It took a little time to get there, and it took a little time to win the national championship. But make no mistake, he is not filling his potential without multiple national championships. Not going to be easy. Never is. But I mean, he can do it. He should do it too.